A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for tonight is called How Beautiful Upon the Mountain.
I don't say that Mount Everest will never be successfully climbed. I don't say that at all. What I do say, however, is that no one will ever successfully climb Everest and come back. Yes, I know they said that about the Matterhorn, and Edward Whymper climbed it. Whymper was the man who first stated what many mountain climbers insist is the creed of their arduous calling. You don't know that? Well, it was many years ago, after he'd made the first successful ascent of the Matterhorn. Someone asked him why he could not see a mountain without wanting to climb it. His reply was simple, and it's become historic. Because it's there, he said. And mountain climbers the world over will solemnly assure you that that is their reason, too. I beg to differ. I think there's another reason. A compulsion in the hearts of certain brave men and women that has existed since the beginnings of time. A compulsion that they very probably never realize is there. A compulsion that is revealed only to a rare few of those that lift up their eyes to the hills. I think it is because the mountains have always been the earthly, abiding place of divinity. I think it's because certain mortals are consumed by a subconscious cosmic curiosity to find the abode of the gods, by an urge to seek and an overpowering hope to find naked divinity at last incarnate on the roof of the world. But these divinities do not welcome human intrusion. Men have walked upon the peak of Mount Olympus, where Zeus and Hera, Pallas Athena, and Aphrodite dwelt, and have not found them. Quetzalcoatl has departed from the high peaks of the Mexican Cordilleras, where men have vainly sought him there. And though the specter of the Bakken sometimes appears today, the traveler knows it to be only the magnified image of himself. But still the ancient, secret compulsion exists. And men climb mountains because of it. In all the recorded history of the world, no known man has ever conquered Everest. The reason? Well, they speak of unclimbable walls, of the lethargy that comes from lack of oxygen. They speak of insufferable cold, of howling winds and sudden storms, of impassable crevasses and monstrous avalanches. And these things are true. I've experienced them myself. But there are avalanches and crevasses and winds and snow and cold on other mountains, and men have climbed them. Could it be that the gods are tired of retreating and have set a barrier on this, their last refuge, against the men of the plains? No man has ever looked upon the summit of Everest, more than 5 miles above the level of the distant sea. Many men have flown near Everest, hoping for a glance at the highest spot on Earth, but Everest has evaded them. In the motion picture that the Marquis of Clydesdale made more than 15 years ago, when he became the first man to fly over the mountain, the eternal veil, the plume of Everest, reached out and covered the peak. You haven't heard of that? Well, if you ever have an opportunity to see those pictures, go. Perhaps what you see will help convert you to my way of thinking. Ceaselessly, day in and day out, in sunshine and in storm, a great plume of ice crystals and powder snow streams out from the crest of the mountain, a terrible white banner that can instantly become a great whip to lash down at the mountain's own flanks as if to drive off some intruder toiling up the incredible slopes to the virgin summit. Yes, I have seen that. Others have seen it, too. Irvine and Lee Mallory saw it, the two men who came closest to the top. And the others of their party saw the plume snatch at them as they struggled upward. And when it lifted again, they had disappeared. No man has seen them since. They did find the ice axe Lee Mallory carried. They found it far down the slopes from where the plume snatched the two men away. And it was curiously bent and twisted, the sturdy, high-tension steel. I met John Chandos when I was a Rhodes Scholar at Oxford. We became great friends through our mutual interest in mountain climbing. I wish you could have seen John Chandos standing before the mantel in my rooms at Oxford on a bleak, rainy day in early autumn.
I'm fed to the teeth, Hugh, with this place. Let's chuck it and go somewhere. Climb a mountain nobody else has climbed.
Yeah, what mountain, old boy?
Well, Everest by choice.
You got 50,000 pounds?
I could get it.
All right, let's go.
I mean it. I could get it.
Where?
Never mind where. Now, look, would you come?
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, I wish you were.
I tell you I am.
Yeah, of course, you know it'd probably be the end of us.
Rather have it that way than drying up bit by bit in Oxford. Wouldn't you?
I would, yes.
Well, then?
I haven't a cent. A shilling, I mean.
You won't need it. I've got plenty.
Well, why Everest?
Look, Brant, old boy. Ever since I was a child, I've had only one ambition. You got a cigarette? Oh, tar. To see the top of Everest. And I'm going to. Come along, do. Now, what are you laughing at?
Well, just the casual way you put it. Let's go see the top of Everest, you and I. Half the world away, 5 miles straight up, dozens of men had died and disappeared trying it. Let's go see the top of Everest.
Someone's going to do it one day, you know.
Yes, that's true.
Well, shall we be the ones?
And on that casual basis, the Chandos-Brant Mount Everest expedition began. We left Oxford. We left England after purchasing thousands of pounds worth of equipment, tents, windproof clothing, weapons and photographic equipment, dehydrated foods, batons, ice axes, cases of brandy, miscellaneous equipment by the hundredweight. And at last we were in Darjeeling, talking to men who knew the roof of the world, learning the names of obscure villages, where we might find guides to lead us to the upper reaches of the Great White Mountain. And a day came when our preparations were completed and a great deal of money spent. And we set out in motor cars to the final takeoff spot where no motor could go, and only the feet of men had walked before. The native guides, as hard-bitted a crew as ever I saw, gathered around their tiny fires. We sat before our little tents and smoked and drank hot, sweet tea against the morning.
Glad, eh, Brent?
Yes, in a way. Not going to be pleasant, though.
Oh, it won't be too bad for a while. Till we get up really high.
Oh, no worse than some places I've been. I wonder what's up there.
Can't tell much from the photographs, can we? Just ice and snow and rock.
And plenty of it.
Quite. You know, I was wondering something today.
What?
I was wondering if any of these native chaps have been up there.
On top?
Yes. Be like them, you know, to be laughing at the silly white men, coming halfway around the world to be the first man on top. While all the time old Bungo and his nephew have been up there a dozen times. Good joke.
No, I doubt it, Chandos.
Oh, so do I, really. But you know these chaps?
Well, none of them seem any too enthusiastic about going up.
Not if you go by the pay they'd insisted on.
Well, you know, Everest is some kind of a god or something to them.
Is to me, too.
What?
Oh, I know it sounds silly, but maybe we're being sacrilegious or something. Maybe nobody's supposed to climb up there.
Not getting cold feet, are you?
Oh, no, not at all. They're quite warm, thank you. Oh. more of your American slang. No, I've not got the wind up, if that's what you mean. But...
Superstition.
I was thinking. I wonder what is waiting for us up there.
Cold and snow and ice and thin air.
Besides that?
What do you mean?
I'm remembering what that chap wrote about Vine and Lee Mallory and the plume up there. Down it came, he said, like a sentient thing, like the hand of a god, and swept them away before my very eyes.
Now, look, you begin to worry about giants and things up there. You'd better stay here.
Oh, I'm not worried, Brent. I'm just curious. Somehow, I'm excited. Like a chap who's waiting to meet his bride at the church on his wedding day. I say, that's being a bit idiotic, isn't it? Look at her up there. Cold and white and beautiful. Not caring about us at all. We're coming up after you, old girl, if we die in the attempt.
And as I lay there in the firelight, listening to the quiet music that came from the shadowy groups of guides and bearers, a strange thought formed in my mind. Shouldn't John Chandos have said, and die in the attempt? And the sound of the little flute went on in the cold twilight, and presently we went to our tents and slept. And I dreamed of a woman's face, a bride's face on a high mountain, and somehow the face was the mountain itself, and the mountain was a face. And it was cold, icy cold. And the voice said in my ear something that I dimly remembered from the Bible, from Isaiah. How beautiful upon the mountain. And the music of the flute dissolved into a great crashing chord. And I awoke trembling in the blackness of a frigid morning. I need not tell you of the next few weeks of the ascent to the camp at 23,000 feet, hardly a mile below the summit. If you have climbed mountains, you will know it to be an endless nightmare of traversing great rocky slopes, of scaling precipitous walls, of making our way cautiously across the ice bridges that span crevasses as deep as infinity. Days of toiling upward, roped together sometimes, only to find the way blocked by a new fall of rock or a snowslide our guides had forgotten. Inching our way up rock chimneys, hammering our pitons laboriously into the face of the living rock and climbing a foot at a time up walls where one misstep, one missed grip, would have sent both our bodies tumbling to a horrid death 1,000 feet below. Days of clawing our way through sudden snowstorms with the biting flakes so thick that we'd lose each other at 10 feet distance. In the midday halts to gulp scalding tea, wolf down a bar of chocolate, and then rise and go on again. And behind us, the diminishing string of porters carrying our supplies, dropping off at regular intervals to set up camp against our return. If we should return. And then the agony of the last few thousand feet. At those heights, of course, exhaustion was our greatest enemy. The oxygen at 20,000 feet is pitifully thin. Each upward step is a lifetime. And the brain reels up there in the rarefied atmosphere that man is not meant to breathe. We made the 26,000-foot camp, and we climbed another 1,000 feet. I'm not sure whether the way grows more difficult as one goes higher. Perhaps the rock formations are no more forbidding at that elevation than they are at the lower levels. But here the strain on mind and muscle and heart is so magnified that the slightest setback is enough to cause a strong man to fall down and weep loud, freezing tears of frustration. I remember that our guides would go no farther, and we struggled upward alone that one morning. At the end of the day, we were a bare 200 feet above them. It seemed to take half the night to get our tents pitched. And I have little doubt it actually did. And I sank into delicious sleep. And again I dreamed. I dreamed of the woman again. A surpassingly beautiful woman, with eyes like the crystals of ice that made up our world here. And about her hair she wore a great white scarf, a kind of plume that moved as if it were a living thing. billowing out over her shoulders, never still, seeming not to be blown by the wind, but to control the wind itself. And I knew something about the plume. Although my tired mind could not remember what it was, I knew. And I tried to look into her eyes, but she was looking beyond me. And in my dream, I turned. And I knew she was looking at John Chandler. And on his face was a look of ineffable adoration. And when I turned to gaze at her again, the same look of love was in her eyes. And the veil, and the plume whipped around, and I felt it brush my face like an icy lash. And it reached out and encircled John Chandler, and I awoke. And when John Chandler awoke, he spoke of a dream he had had.
The most amazing dream, old boy. Dreamed of the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. Posed, like a bride. Had a great white veil, blowing in the wind. Smiled at me. Most real dream I ever had. She was barefooted in all this cold, and the veil wrapped it around me. Must be going, mustn't I?
And he crawled out of the tent into the clear, cold dawn of the high altitudes. And in a moment I heard him calling.
Brant! Brant, old boy! Brant, I say, come out!
What's up?
Come out! I found something.
I crawled out with great effort to find him on his knees at the side of the tent, staring at something in the hard-packed snow.
What is it?
I asked. He pointed.
Look! There!
And I looked. There in the snow were a woman's footprints. A woman's bare footprints in the age-old snow where no human being had ever been before. On my knees, I examined them carefully. A woman had stood there for a long time, and then turned away. And the footprints in the snow led upward. I lifted my head and looked up at the top of the mountain, still far above us in the rays of the first sun. And the veil, the plume of Everest, fluttered coldly against the dark blue of the sky.
You said superstition when I talked about what was up here, Brant. You know it wasn't superstition. You saw the footprints. You saw how easy it was to follow them this morning. You know we've climbed 3 times as far today as we ever climbed before. She's leading us. She wants us to come on up to her. Do you remember the night we started? When I spoke about going to meet my bride? Do you remember, Brant?
Yes. I remember.
I've not taken leave of my senses, have I, Brant?
Not unless I have to.
My name is John Chandler. My family's coat of arms is Argent at Pile Guild. The days of the week are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's right.
That's right.
And we did see the footprints.
Yes. We saw them.
Are you afraid, Hugh?
Afraid?
Yes.
No. I'm not afraid. Not for me.
What then?
I had the dream, too.
Why did you say you're not afraid for yourself?
Because in the dream, she chose you.
Yes. I know that.
You're not afraid?
Why should I be afraid of my bride?
And then we slept again. And in the morning we went higher. The way was more difficult for me, but Chandler seemed to find it almost easy. We were on the very ledge from which Lee Mallory and Irvine disappeared in the folds of the plume. I recognized it dimly from the photographs and motion pictures that Captain Noel had made years before, as the two men slowly made their way along the rock wall not 2,000 feet from the summit. That scene will never leave my mind. And I knew we were almost in the exact spot where they had been snatched away. At any second, I thought, the cold caress of the veil, the plume, will fall on us. And then the silences returned. I was seized with a desperate desire to turn back, but Chandos was marching on ahead easily, while I made most heavy going on it. We were roped together, and there was nothing to do but follow. I stumbled more and more frequently, and at last I could go no farther. I sank down in the snow, close beside the wall with a sheer precipice at my elbow. And Chandos came back to me, having felt the pull of the rope at his waist.
Much further, Hugh.
I can't make it.
Well, higher than any man has ever been before. Look up.
I looked up. It was scarcely 500 feet to go. My tired eyes told me.
Scarcely 500 feet.
I can't. Go on without me.
No, I won't.
I can't go any farther.
Tomorrow, then?
No.
Well, what'll we do?
I'm going back.
You can't do that, Hugh.
Yes.
Well, I'll go back down with you. But let me go on ahead for just a moment. We're so close now. Let me see if I can go on up to the top by myself. And if I can, I will. Then I'll come back and we'll both go back down. Will you let me do that?
If you like.
If it's easy, you can go on up too. It's a pity to be this far. Then turn back.
Do what you like.
You stay right here.
I'll stay here.
I'll hurry, old boy. Eat a bit of chocolate.
Why do you have to go and leave me?
I've got to see if somebody's there, old boy.
I was already falling into a half stupor as he turned and went up the ledge. And for a little while I slept, I think. Alone on a 16-inch ledge 5 miles above the ground. And I remembered confused dreams of a beautiful bride with a veil of sparkling ice crystals. And there was strange music in my ears. And presently, the sound of John Chandos' voice in disappointment.
Come on, old chap. We're going back down.
Down?
There's no way to the top.
What do you mean?
There's an absolutely unclimbable wall just around that corner.
No way?
No way, old boy. No way at all. The rock face leans outward. I looked at it from every angle. There's just no way. So, come on.
And as he lifted me to my feet, there was the softest little sound as of something dropping into the snow beside us. I leaned against the wall as Chandos bent and picked it up. He looked at it very curiously for a long moment. And finally I mumbled, "What is it?" And he stretched out his hand to me. And in it was a full-blown, green-stemmed white rose. And when I took it from him, the frozen thing shattered into a million glittering fragments. And I looked at John Chandler's face, and it was transfigured with a joy and a hope, such as I have never seen in any man. My gaze went on beyond him, upward. And against the darkening sky, the great veil that streamed from the mountaintop slowly wheeled around and down toward us. And it seemed not like a whip to lash us to an icy death, but like the compassionate arms of a beloved woman stretched out to her lover. And then as its coldness enveloped us, I heard the beginning of an avalanche's roar above me, and the sound of great bursts of triumphant music. I opened my eyes, and it was morning. I lay on the snow 100 feet above our last camp, and by turning my head I could see a tiny thread of smoke rising from the tent. And I rose slowly and looked upward. The plume of Everest was still blowing wide and free from the summit. And with an effort I found my binoculars and focused them on the topmost peak. Snow and ice and barrenness. Snow and ice and barrenness, and a man and a woman. A man in mountain climber's dress. A woman in a bride's flowing white gown and a veil floating from her hair. A veil that dissolved into the great streaming banner of ice crystals flung across the sky above the roof of the world.
Quiet, Please, for tonight was called How Beautiful Upon the Mountains. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And John Chandos was played by Roy Irving, late of the Dublin Gate Theatre. Music was played by Albert Berman, as usual, who also composes the special music heard on Quiet Please. Now, for a word about next week's Quiet Please, and his usual little insertion, my good friend, Willis Cooper.
The two principal characters in tonight's Quiet Please are, of course, fictitious and sprang to mature life from the keyboard of my typewriter, so don't think they're anybody you ever knew. They aren't. Quiet Please for next week will be called There Are Shadows Here.
And so, until next week at the same time, and There Are Shadows Here, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Ask yourself this question. Do I practice prejudice in any way? You know, your answer is very important. Because, after all, you simply can't hold a grudge against any of your fellow Americans and be a good American yourself. In this country today, the forces of bigotry and intolerance are definitely at work, undermining the principles of our freedom and equality upon which this nation was founded. If you help these forces of group hatred, you enlist yourself on their side and against America itself. You also do help these forces every time you speak out against your neighbor, because he attends a different church or if he had ancestors of a different religion. Remember, your personal behavior can encourage respect for other races, tolerance for other religions, so don't betray this country by spreading a doctrine of hate and prejudice against fellow Americans. Do your part to make freedom a living reality. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for tonight is called There Are Shadows Here.
Look at my hands. Trembling like a leaf. And there's nothing I can do to stop it either. Well, if you've been through what I've been through. Last Wednesday, I come into Tim's bar. I sit down on a stool. I say, I'll have a Scotch Mist, Patty.
Oh, hiya, Woody.
Scotch Mist, Patty.
Scotch Mist. Hey, there's a lady in here looking for you.
Lady?
Yeah. What kind of scotch?
Got any Glenlivet?
No, just White Horse, and that's 69. Maybe there's a little left in the Hague bottle. Yeah, a lady looking for you.
Who was she?
I don't know. I never seen her. Tim told me about her.
When was she here, Patty?
A while ago.
Well, what'd she want?
I don't know. He was just looking for you. Scotch Mist.
Well, didn't she say what she wanted?
Just wanted you. Is that stuff good?
Yeah, it's all right. Why?
I was just wondering. I never tasted it.
Don't you ever take a drink, Patty?
Me? Oh, I never take a drink. Except ginger beer. You can't get that anymore.
That's so?
Comes in little stone jugs. Crocks, like.
Funny about that woman.
Yeah, I sure used to like ginger beer. I think Tim said her name was Esther.
Esther? I don't know any Esther.
Esther, Hester, Lester. Something like that.
Esther, huh?
Yeah. Esther, Hester, Lester. I don't know.
Well, if she was good looking.
Tim didn't know.
What?
Tim said he didn't see her face, see? You don't know her, huh?
Well, I don't think so. It's funny.
Dames. You want another of them things?
Yeah, I'll have another.
Oh, sure wish I could get some ginger beer. Used to drink it up in Canada. Marlborough Hotel in Winnipeg. Drink it with a quart.
I wonder who it could have been.
Who?
The woman that was looking for me.
Oh, I don't know. Scotch Mist.
Yeah, thanks. Esther, huh?
Yeah, that's what Tim said.
I don't know any Esther.
Well, she knows you. Woody, she says. That's your name, ain't it?
Sure.
I could give her your phone number.
No, don't do that.
Okay.
If she comes in again, tell her to leave her phone number. I could call her up.
Yeah. I'll tell Tim.
Hey.
Huh?
How come Tim didn't see her face, Patty?
Oh, it's always dark in here. Always shadows in here.
Oh.
Shadows set you nuts sometimes.
Yeah?
Yeah. Good thing I don't drink nothing but ginger beer. Even if I could get it. You drink, and these here shadows set you nuts.
Yeah, it is dark in here.
Oh, that Tim. Look at them shadows, Woody. That there one in the corner by the cannibal's head. Don't it look like the cannibal's head is making faces at you? Look now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks funny.
I'm in here all alone. It pretty near sets me nuts. There's one there by the second booth, you see? Looks like a big black cat.
You got a terrific imagination, Patty.
There's one on the bar here.
Huh?
Every time I stoop down to pick up a beer glass, I jump. Looks like a hand reaching out for me. Makes me jump.
Well, I'll say it's a good thing you don't drink.
Nothing but ginger beer. I go nuts.
Well, I'm going to get out of here before I go nuts, too.
Okay. $1.30.
And a dime for you, Patty.
Oh, much obliged. If she comes in again, I'll tell her you was here. Shadows. Every place you go, there's shadows.
When did I say that was? Last Wednesday. The things that can happen in less than a week. Look at my hands. I can't stop shaking. Patty and his shadows. I said to myself, I'm not going to Tim's anymore. There's a bar in the hotel where I can drink my Scotch mist and not have him mumbling in my ear all the time. I got to thinking about shadows, though, myself. I was sitting in the Italian place waiting for my lasagna and stuff and wondering if I should order a bottle of wine. There was a candle on the table. There was a little draft in the room. The flame was jumping up and down. And the shadows on the wall. It doesn't take much imagination to see things in the shadows, does it? A game everybody plays. You want a little bit of advice, though, friend? Don't do it. Huh? Oh, I'll tell you. First thing I found myself making shadows on the wall with my hands. A rabbit, old man waggling his beard. Owl. You know how you get fascinated with that kind of stuff? The waiter must have thought I was crazy. I know he did when I jumped up and knocked the table over with all the dishes on it.
Hey, what's the matter with you, mister? You sick?
What made that shadow?
What a shadow. I see you making with the hands from the shadows on the wall.
I didn't make that shadow.
What a shadow you talk.
There was the shadow of a woman there.
Oh, you talk crazy, mister. There wasn't been no woman here for 2 weeks. Not since Esther got mad and quit.
Esther? Who's she?
She's a waitress here the last week, and she quit. The boss is saying he's not going to have no woman in this place and never. Especially not Esther.
I ordered the bottle of wine and I drank it. Because I'm telling you, I did see the shadow of a woman's head on the wall next to me. And I'm also telling you I didn't have anything to do with it. All right, think whatever you want to. I tell you I saw it. And Esther, too. Now, what do you think of that, my friend? Well, let me go on. I went home. I went to bed. Sure, of course I dreamed about shadows. What did you expect? Well, I live in a hotel, as I said, all by myself in a little room on the 8th floor. I didn't think I was going to get to sleep, but I did. I read a while. I left the light on in the bathroom. Didn't go for the dark, you see. I woke up in the middle of the night, thirsty from all that wine I drank. I started to get up and go to the bathroom for a drink of water. As I sat up in bed, see, there was a square of light on the wall opposite my bed from the bathroom light. And right in the middle of that patch of light, there was a shadow. The shadow of a woman, just standing there. Not doing anything, just standing there. I was scared. And the darndest thought come into my mind, scared as I was. I didn't get out of bed at first. I just sat there and I said, Esther? And there wasn't any answer. And I tried it again. Esther?
Yes.
Ever feel your hair actually stand on end? Well, it does all right. Mine did. And I managed to speak again. I said, what do you want, Esther?
Will you come with me?
And the shadow sort of stretched out its arms to me in a gesture that was like a little girl. And yet it wasn't. It was, I don't know how to say it, like someone who was in love with me, someone that I loved. Oh, I can't explain it. I got up and threw my robe around me, and I walked toward the light. The shadow moved, too. It moved toward the door of the room. The door that leads out into the hall. The shadow's hands touched the doorknob. I looked to see who it was that was casting the shadow. And I tell you, I was alone in that room. Yes, sir, I was alone in the room. I turned back to the door just as the shadow seemed to kind of melt into the wood, and then seemed to go on through the locked door. And I reached for the door and opened it. The shadow was moving down the hall toward the stairway beyond the run of the elevators, and there wasn't a soul in the hallway. I tell you, there wasn't. The hall's brightly lighted, and all there was this woman's shadow gliding away from me along the wall. I stood there with my mouth hanging open. Just as the shadow reached the end of the hall, it stopped and put out its arms again.
Will you come with me?
And I slammed the door shut, turned all the other lights in my room off, and I stuck my head under the cold shower. I was scared to death. And you know what? There was a smell of perfume in the room. Russia leather. I remember it from a girl I used to know in New York that always used it. And believe me, brother, I haven't got any Russia leather perfume in my room. But I smelled it. Plain. Well, all right. Maybe somebody's playing tricks on me. But if you can tell me how to play that one, brother, I'll put in with you. Listen, I was riding down on the elevator the next morning with Frankie, the wise kid that runs the car. You know what he did? Listen.
Hey, Woody.
Huh?
You stink swell.
What?
Perfume. I didn't know that about you.
What are you talking about?
Sure smells expensive. Where'd you get it?
You trying to kid me, Frankie?
Oh, goodness, no.
And I could smell it myself then. Russia leather. Well? I don't know why I ever go to Tim's. It's dark in there, and Patty... Well, you know Patty. Yeah, he gets you down mumbling... Always mumbling about the shadows. And that's where I first heard about Esther, too. It's a depressing place. So...
Got your list, Woody?
Yeah.
I don't see why you drink these things. We had some ginger beer now. But you can't get it. Why do you drink these things?
I like them.
Tim says your girl was in here again today.
Who?
This Esther, or whatever her name is. She was in, Tim said.
When?
Today. She asked for you.
What did you tell her?
I didn't tell her anything. It was Tim seen her. Or, rather, he didn't see her.
Why didn't he see her?
The shadows. You know.
Yeah. You didn't see her face to face then?
Just kind of like a shadow.
I see. What'd she want?
You, he said. She said. Wanted you to go someplace with her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all I know. You, want another Scotch mist?
Yeah, I guess so. Patty.
Sir?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Oh.
Scotch mist. Sure, you work around a place like this as long as I have. You believe in everything. These here shadows. There was a fellow murdered here once when it was a speak. A fellow hit a fellow with a chair.
Yeah?
Yeah. If you see over there on the end of the back bar, that's one leg of the chair. Tim always likes to keep these here souvenirs. I don't care much about them.
Yeah, I shouldn't think you would.
No, them things is haunted, see? Boy, you ought to be here sometimes late at night when I'm alone.
Why?
The things that happen. Aye, give me the willies.
What things, Patty?
Oh, shadows and things. Scare you right out of your year's growth. You know what, for instance?
What?
These here shadows, Woody. Nothing worse than a shadow.
You're telling me.
Unless it's not a shadow.
What do you mean?
Well, there's people that don't have no shadow, see?
You know what I think, Patty?
What?
I think either you or me is crazy.
Huh. Well, maybe it's both of us. What makes you think so?
Talking this way.
Yeah? What are you scared of?
Who says I'm scared?
What's your hands trembling for that way?
Well, I drink too much.
It ain't that kind of trembles, Woody.
It is, too.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Don't look now.
What?
Right behind you. Take it easy now. There's a shadow on the wall behind you, Woody.
Cut it out.
There's a shadow of a woman on the wall right behind you, Woody. And there ain't nothing that's making that shadow.
A woman?
Yeah. A woman looking right at you. Go ahead. Turn around and look.
And I turned around slowly on my stool. I looked at the wall where Patty was pointing. I looked hard. Patty, you're crazy. Isn't any shadow there?
There's two.
There is not. I'll go show you. Now, you see? My overcoat here on the bench.
Where's that perfume all come from?
Hello, Frankie.
Hiya, Woody. Hard day at the office?
Yeah, not especially.
Oh, you just look kind of peeking.
Well, I feel all right.
You in love, maybe?
What?
Who was the babe looking for you?
Babe. Looking for me?
Yeah, a little while ago.
I don't know any babes, Frankie. What's she look like?
Don't kid me, Woody.
I'm not, I tell you.
It's Florence. It's Florence.
Listen, Frankie.
Yeah?
Listen, there is a woman that's been looking for me. I don't know who she is.
You in a jam?
Yes.
Well, I didn't see her, Woody, honest. I was just closing the door to run up to the 12th to pick up the old guy with the teeth, you know. And I saw her just a second. She asked for you, and the old guy was punching the buzzer. You know how he does. And all I saw was a kind of a shadow, see?
A shadow?
Yeah, kind of, you know. Hey!
What?
That perfume I was kidding you about this morning.
Well?
She had some of it on, too. Does that make you think of anybody?
Yes, Frankie. Yes, it does make me think of somebody. Which was, Frankie?
Huh?
Who is it?
Me, Patty. Is that you, Woody?
What are you doing here, Patty?
I come to visit you.
Well, come in.
Hey, has she been here, Woody?
Who?
You know who I mean, this Esther, whoever she is.
She was here.
You see her?
No.
Good.
Patty, what is this?
It's ascending.
A what?
Ascending, like they used to have in the old country. My grandpa used to tell me about it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She's after you. She's come to get you. Now listen. Did she ask you to come with her?
Yes, she did. Last night.
Oh, man.
How do you know so much about all this, Patty?
I know a lot of things you ain't got any idea I know. My grandpa was born with a caul.
What?
A caul. A thing on his head. Look, I know what I'm talking about, Woody. I'm going to make her go away.
Patty, listen.
No, you listen. I know what I'm talking about.
Is she a real woman?
She is a shadow.
Patty, if you're playing a dirty trick on me...
I was never more serious in my life.
Well, what are we going to do?
You watch, and you do just like I say.
Well,
turn off the lights.
Patty...
Turn off the lights.
Well,
go on.
And I turned off the lights in the room, feeling like another idiot. Patty and I sat down in the darkness to wait. And we waited. And waited. And at last I heard a noise. A faint, strange, uncanny noise. I whispered, Patty. There was no other sound. And it was fully 5 minutes before I realized that the sound that had set my hair stand on end again was Patty snoring. And so I got up and turned the lights on again and kicked Patty out and went to bed. Well, maybe I dreamed it, maybe I didn't. But somewhere in the darkness I heard the sound of someone stirring in my room. And a voice.
Woody. Woody? Come with me.
And I awoke. And the scent of her perfume was heavy in the room. That would be last Thursday, wouldn't it? Well, the next night I came straight home and Patty was in my room waiting.
I tell you, Woody, you're in danger.
And so we sat late again, Patty with a curious collection of books and implements that he said would get rid of the sending for once and all. But there was no sending. Patty stayed all night with me, and we heard no sound, saw no shadows, smelled no perfume. But there was dust on the shelf of my bathroom. And when morning came, Patty showed me something scrawled in the dust by a finger. A woman's finger, if I'm any judge. It was just one word. A name. Esther. Maybe Patty did that himself, maybe not. I didn't know what he was up to. I can't get away from the fact that there is someone named Esther who wants to see me, whose shadow I have seen, whose voice I have heard. Someone who leaves the scent of Russia leather behind her, who scrawls her name in the dust. In the dust. That's curious, isn't it? Dust. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Now, Patty and I sit again in the dark waiting. This time I know something's going to happen. Patty says you send her back where she came from. Send her back alone.
It can be done, Woody. All you have to know is the secrets like my grandpa knew. They've got all this stuff right here. The only thing is, maybe she knows. And she won't come whilst I'm here.
Yeah, we see, Patty, but I'm telling you something had better happen. Yeah, I'm about at the end of my string.
If she comes, she'll go, Woody.
I hope so.
Yes, sir. Shadows is terrible things. And the only other thing that's worse is for a man not to have a shadow.
Well, how could that be?
How could there be a shadow without anything for it to be a shadow of?
Yes.
Be quiet.
It's late. It's past midnight, I think, and I'm so sleepy I can hardly keep my eyes open. Patty, are you awake?
Yeah.
And the little light from the bathroom casts its square of light on the green wall alongside the dresser. And I can just barely hear the traffic in the street below. A night owl taxi. Somebody yelling a goodbye to a belated friend and...
Be still, Woody. What? Looky at the wall.
And I look at the wall. And there is a shadow in the square of light on the green wall alongside the dresser. And there is a tang of Russia leather in the air. And the shadow stretches out its arms to me.
It's time for us to go.
I find myself getting up from my chair. And the shadowy arms are about to take me. I hear Patty muttering something, and he seems so far away. And the arms are still reaching for me. Suddenly there's Patty's voice again, loud, real in the room.
Turn on the lights.
Of course I'll turn the lights on, Patty. And I do turn on the lights, and it's just a room again. And the shadow is still there. The arms are still reaching out for me, and the shadow starts towards the door. And suddenly, Patty screams again.
Woody, your shadow's gone.
And so my shadow is gone. So it is. And I follow the other shadow, Esther's shadow, to the door, and I open the door. And I follow the shadow out into the hall and down the hall. And it seems so odd to be walking along in the light and there's no shadow for me. And the elevator door's open. And I walk in, and the shadow drives in ahead of me. And there's a woman standing there at the back of the elevator. The shadow just seems to melt into her figure. And I look at her and I say, Esther? She looks back at me as if she never saw me in her whole life. The elevator jerks suddenly. It starts to plunge faster and faster down the shaft. She turns horrified eyes to me and she screams. And I know the sending is completed. And Esther and I are done with shadows forever.
Quiet Please for Tonight was called There Are Shadows Here. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. The man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell.
And Alan Sparrow was Esther. Patty was played by Ed Latimer. The writer was Sid Cassell. And Frank Thomas was Frankie. As usual, music for Quiet Please is played by Albert Berman. Now, words from our good friend, Bill Cooper.
Nobody living or dead was even hinted at in tonight's Quiet Please story. I thought up the characters in the story without any outside stimulus at all. Next week's Quiet Please will be called Gem of Purest Ray.
And so, until next week at the same time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell.
Quiet Please comes to you from New York. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for tonight is called Gem of Purest Ray. Eleftherios Moraides. M-O-R-A-I. I know how to spell it. I'm Greek, too. Are you? I didn't get your name. Pappas. Nick Pappas, Detective Sergeant, first grade. We got your address, 47 North 51st Street. Well, thank you, sir, Dr. Moraitis.
I'm sorry I don't speak modern Greek. I assume that to mean, how do you do, though?
That's right.
Well, Kala.
Well, you Kala, huh? After killing this guy.
I have no regrets at all, Mr. Pappas, is it?
That's right. Well, go ahead.
There's nothing more to say.
You know that what you're saying will be used in evidence against you, don't you?
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting pretty tired of it, Pappas.
Of what, Dr. Moraitis?
Killing these people.
Oh?
Do you suppose they'll...
Electrocute you? They sure will, Moraitis.
Electrocute. What a word.
Quite an experience, too. They tell me.
I wasn't thinking about the experience. It's the barbarism of the word that sets my teeth on edge. Words like electrocute, locate, reside.
What's the matter with them?
They get me down.
Well, not to change the subject, but what about these other people you mentioned?
Oh. I was just thinking, as long as they're going to send me to the electric chair...
Oh, you're on the way, okay, Moraitis.
Well, in that case, I might as well tell you about the others.
Sure. Go right ahead.
And I could warn you at the same time.
Warn me?
Yes.
Warn me of what?
These people that have to be killed.
Oh? Who are they, Moraitis?
I'm of perfectly sound mind, Sergeant Pappas.
You bet. Now, let's get this conversation over with first, huh? Then we'll get on to the warning, huh? Okay.
Well, so far as I can remember, there are 32 of them.
All together?
That I've murdered. Killed.
This one makes 33.
No, he's the 32nd.
Well, nice going. You have their names, I suppose?
No, not all of them. As a matter of fact, I have the names of only a few of them. I could give you the details of the murders, you see, and perhaps you could work back from that.
Yeah, I suppose we could, couldn't we?
But there are so many more of them.
So?
You find them everywhere.
Good.
And they've all got to be destroyed.
Who's going to destroy them?
Well, I've destroyed 32 of them. And now you're going to hang me.
Objection, Doctor. We're going to fry you.
For trying to save the world.
For knocking off Mr. Oliver Meredith, 38, of 202 South Winter Street, to which you have confessed. And for which you will be fried like a fish.
I am not a fish.
Not yet.
He's a fish.
Who's a fish?
This Meredith that I killed.
Say, you may get out yet on a loony plea.
Sergeant Pappas, did you see Meredith's body?
Sure.
Did you look at it carefully?
Careful enough to see he was dead. Dead as a fish.
Did you notice his neck?
No. What?
There are 2 scars on his neck. On each side. Just below his ears.
That's the coroner's business, Doctor.
It's your business. It's everybody's business.
Why?
Because that's the way you can identify them.
Identify who, for God's
The
sake?
people that are trying to destroy the world.
Who?
The people from the bottom of the ocean. Those scars on their necks are gills. Gills like a fish. Excuse me, I'm becoming ungrammatical. I mean, they are gills such as fishes possess.
No fins?
I beg you, Sergeant, please don't joke about this.
And they come from the bottom of the ocean.
They do.
Lean over here. Turn your head. The other way now. How come you got scars on the sides of your neck, Dr. Moraitis? You been to the bottom of the ocean, too?
Yes. Those are my gills. Yes. I've been to the bottom of the ocean, too. We Greeks have an enormous affinity for the depths of the seas. Our first heroes were men of the sea, Jason, and Odysseus and the others. We were a sea-going, a sea-loving nation. And the very words we use to describe the sea today came from the Greek. Pelagian, of the sea. From the Greek, pelagos. Plankton. The microscopic animal forms that lie at various levels in the ocean depths. That's a Greek word, too.
Longthirst. A wanderer.
And Atlantis was one of our colonies. Atlantis, whose people so loved the sea that the gods of ancient Greece sunk the whole continent into its depths.
You believe that kind of junk?
And you'd better believe it, too. Sergeant Pappas of the police.
Yeah?
Because Atlantis exists today. And its people live. And the ambassadors of Atlantis come from the sea to live beside us. And sow seeds of discontent and hatred among us. Wherever we live. You remember me now, don't you? The Moraida's deep-sea exploration group, that's right. Men have gone down to the depths of the sea before. William Beebe and his bathysphere, you remember, of course. Bathysphere, we Greeks again. Comes from bathos. Depths.
Uh-huh.
But I wanted to go deeper, to plumb the utmost depths of the sea. To get out of the valleys that extend farther below the sea's level and the highest peaks on earth ascend above it. I wanted to find Atlantis. I found myself in possession of certain documents, charts, maps, the existence of which had heretofore never been suspected. And I found the exact coordinates of latitude and longitude of the ancient city, the capital of the country that sank below the waves so many, many centuries ago. No, never mind them. It will do you no good to know them. Let it suffice that the depth is something more than 8 miles. I beg pardon?
I said, go on.
No need to tell you either of the details of the construction of my diving bell. It was made to my own specifications, internally braced to withstand the pressure of several tons to the square inch. There was light and heat and large ports set in the sides with cone-shaped plexiglass deadlights, so that no matter what the pressure of the water from the outside, the plexiglass would be only forced in tighter.
But the thing busted anyway, didn't it?
That was the story. What really happened was somewhat different.
Get on with your story, Doctor.
If you'd just not interrupt me.
Go ahead.
If you read the newspaper accounts at the time...
When was it?
May 17th, 1946.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that you might have remembered that there was no physical connection between the bell and the surface. That is, it was not on a cable of any kind. It was free.
How'd you expect to get back?
By releasing ballast, of course, upon which the bell and the people in it, if any, would rise to the surface. We had, of course, radio contact with our headquarters ship on the surface.
And you and the woman...
Miss Elizabeth Case. My assistant.
Yes. You and this Miss Case went down in this thing, and it busted or something, and they pulled you out of the ocean at Old Saybrook, Connecticut. They never found Miss Case's body. Is that right?
They didn't find Miss Case's body because she is still alive. Or was when I last saw her.
Oh, yeah? And when did you last see her, Doc?
Standing in front of the Temple of Poseidon.
And where is this Temple of Poseidon, if you please?
In Atlantis. 40-some thousand feet below the surface of the ocean.
And what was she doing, Doc?
She was talking to the high priest.
Talking? 40,000 feet underwater, and she talks. Well, Doc, you're really bucking for a Section 8, aren't you?
I am telling you the truth, Sergeant Pappas.
Okay, go ahead. As long as you don't get violent.
It is very quiet in the lower depths of the ocean. I remember the bathymeter showed a depth of 8,000 meters, that is, roughly 20,000 feet, when we saw the first inhabitant of the ocean, completely different from any previous conception of ocean life.
Doctor, look out this port.
See something?
Look.
Well.
I wonder if it's alive.
It seems to be.
It looks like a great big sheep. I don't see any eyes or a mouth or anything. It's coming closer.
It's alive, all right. This is wonderful, isn't it?
Well, Doctor, it is alive.
Looks like a blanket. It's turning over. Now maybe we'll see what...
What did she scream about?
The thing turned over. Then we saw the other side.
Well?
The thing was a huge face. A human face. A woman's face. Paper-thin, flesh-colored, and alive. 30 feet across like a huge mask. And the thing looked at us and it smiled. And then it darted toward us and Betty screamed again as the thing wrapped itself around the diving bell. And I could see the plexiglass ports start inward with the increased pressure. And then I looked closer at the port. And across its surface outside there in the water, a million tiny hands. Women's hands. Crawled across the glass, clutching, reaching, trying to come inside.
And what did you do then, Doc?
I'm afraid I fainted.
What about Miss Kate?
She fainted, too.
I sort of expected that.
Well, why shouldn't she? The face that she looked at out there in the depths of the sea was her own.
Better and better, Dr. Moraitis. Then what?
It was black outside when I came to. Black and immeasurably cold. The thing was gone. There was nothing but blackness. I gave her some brandy.
Always brandy in these stories.
And I took a little myself.
Oh.
The bathymeter indicated 9,200 meters.
And you saw a red, white, and blue turkey with a straw hat.
I saw far below me the lights of a city. I saw Atlantis. Well?
Go on, Doc.
I show you this jewel.
Yeah? What is it?
I found it on the floor of my diving bell. A moment after I saw the lights of Atlantis below me.
How did it get there?
I don't know.
Well, what is it?
You ever read Thomas Gray's elegy written in a country churchyard?
I guess so. In high school. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day. Why?
Let me quote one of the couplets to you. Full many a gem of purest ray serene the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bear.
Go on, Doctor.
I suspect that Thomas Gray was trying to tell the world something.
That's kind of reaching for it, Doctor.
I didn't know where it came from, I told you.
That's right.
But Betty Case knew. Betty Case gasped when she saw it.
Where did that come from?
Well, I don't know. It was on the floor.
Give it to me.
Well, what are you so anxious?
Because it's mine.
Oh, well, I had a weird idea it came from outside. Isn't that silly?
No, Dr. Moraitis. It isn't silly.
What?
It did come from outside.
And the two red scars on her neck, just below her ears. The red scars I had never noticed before, pulsed as she spoke. And I was struck with a queer, fleeting thought. Why? She looks just like a fish. Out of water. And I could feel the motion of the diving bell quicken, and in a moment it was like an express elevator dropping down out of control from some great height. Betty Case was laughing at me, and queer things sped past the port. The light grew stronger, and my mind reeled. Suddenly I was flung to the floor as it thumped against the depths of the ocean. The bathymeter registered 13,800 meters below sea level. We had come to rest 8 miles below the surface where the sun danced on the waves. And we sat in bright light in the streets of Atlantis.
Well, it's a great story, Dr. Moraitis.
A crowd of people in the street. A crowd of people dressed in the garments of ancient Greece. sound of music. The set of beryllium steel walls of the diving bells are humming. Men and women and children in the light of great lamps beaming down from tall marble columns. Men and women and children living and moving and breathing. 8 miles below the ocean surface. And I turned to look at Betty Case.
I remembered, Doctor, when I saw the door. I remembered when I dreamed after the first looked in on us and I fainted. And when I saw the door...
This can't be. This is utterly, fantastically impossible.
No, it is not, Doctor. Look outside.
They're coming closer. Betty, look out. Do you see them?
Yes, I see. It isn't impossible, Doctor. This is Atlantis.
It can't be.
It is. It's Atlantis. I'm home again.
And she started for the door of the diving bell. Started reaching out for the mechanism that would unlock it, that would open and let the sea in to crush his boat. And I leaped in front of it to prevent it. But she raised the jewel and held it in front of my eyes, and I felt my strength leave me suddenly. And all I could see was the coruscating brightness of the jewel burning into my eyes. And all I could hear was her voice, echoing hollowly against the steel wall.
No. Never seek to stop me now, man of earth.
And I thought idly of the archaic form of speech she employed. This girl who was on earth the most prosaic, dry as dust, laboratory assistant.
Never seek to stay my hand, nor turn thy eyes away from the gem of Purest Ray. For thy senses before thee now, and thou shalt go forth into the depths where mortal man hath not yet trod.
And I thought with considerable surprise, why, she's speaking the purest of ancient Greek. And I'm understanding it.
Now let thee become as one of us.
And I watched her calmly as she extended the gleaming jewel toward me. I felt it touch the sides of my neck just below the ears, and a searing cold pain went through my body. And suddenly I was gasping for breath. I drew in great gulps of the oily air of the diving bell, and with each breath I grew weaker and weaker. I was suffocating, like a fish out of water. And as the darkness shot with flashes of red descended upon me, and I knew I was dying, I dimly saw her touch the scar on her neck with a jewel, and she was gasping suddenly, too. And I saw her reach again for the lever that operated the door, and it burst open. And I felt life returning to me as I breathed in great lungfuls of cold, pure salt water. Great. And old Kosan gave me my own jewel. The jewel that lies on your desk there. Kosan, the elder, with his white beard and the look of antiquity in his eyes, he has lived since Atlantis first disappeared beneath the ocean. Kosan spoke to me many times.
Never lose the jewel, Eleftherios. When you go back to the land, you'll need it to change you back from a water breather to an air breather, you see.
I'm going back then?
Yes, of course. There are a great many messages that I want to send to our people on the land. Messages that cannot be trusted to our ordinary radio, you see. Because the time is almost here.
The time?
I forgot that you didn't know.
Is Betty going back with me?
No, she stays here. She'll be here when you come back.
Well, must I come back?
You don't want to die, do you?
What do you mean?
There isn't going to be any place for you to live up there, you know.
What?
Sit down, son. You're happy, aren't you?
I'm pretty confused, sir.
No doubt.
May I ask you some questions?
You can ask them, yes.
Well,
How is it done?
Living here? Time enough for that. We live. Isn't that enough?
No.
Next question.
Well, Betty, she's from the land, isn't she?
Originally, yes. Did you ever hear of the bark Marie Celeste?
I seem to.
It was lost with all hands. That is, all hands were lost. They found the ship, sailing along with all its sails set, food on the table, still hot, and nobody aboard. It was one of the greatest mysteries of the sea.
I remember.
Betty was a passenger on the Marie Celeste.
But that was more than 100 years ago.
Yes, that's so. And the Cyclops that was lost in your World War in 1918. Remember that?
Yes.
They're all here. The Cyclops crew.
They are?
Well, except those we sent up to the surface.
Well, what do you send those people up there for?
Well, we've decided that we are the ones that the world belongs to, Eleftherios. You people up on the surface have made a pretty bad mess of things. And we're going to take it away from you.
How?
Well, we want a world that's covered with water everywhere. Land is useless to us.
But
what?
the people up there. My people.
Are you proud of your people, Eleftherios?
Well,
of course. Look, son, we're essentially kind-hearted people down here. And we're a great many. There are more of us than there are people on the land.
Well, yes, but
Don't interrupt. You think your people are so clever. Where do you think they get their knowledge?
What, for instance?
Of ways to make war, for instance. Of ways to make deadlier and deadlier war. They didn't think of those things themselves. You know where they got their ideas.
You're not going to tell me.
Oh, but I am. Look, son, there are right now 65,211 Atlanteans on the surface of the earth. In every country that's known. And some that aren't very well known. They speak every language. They look like Earth people, except for the two little scars on their necks. And they're doing a great job.
I don't believe it.
Well, you'd better believe it, son, because one of these fine days your little friends upstairs are going to blast all the continents right off the face of the earth. You know what happens then? Yes, that's right. There won't be anything but water on this little old planet. So you can make your choice. You can use your jewel like the other Atlanteans up there will, and come on back down here. Or blub, son. Blub. Strictly blub.
I don't...
If that thing doesn't kill you when it goes off. So, what do you say?
What do you want me to do?
Go on back for a while and help us in our little whispering campaign to destroy the continent.
I won't do it.
Well, son, down here on the bottom, we've solved the problem of combating pressure. If you decide not to come along with us, we'll just take that control off you. Tap you with the business end of the little jewel here, and you know what'll happen?
I have an idea.
Oh, no. No, you haven't. You haven't any idea. But, son, it'll be awful. Come on, make up your mind. And?
What?
I said, and?
Well, I'm here. I don't know how they did it, but I'm here.
You certainly are. Well, you've been passing the word to the little ambassadors what the old gentleman wants back?
I have not. I told you I've killed 32 of them so far, including Miss Meredith.
It's a great alibi.
You think I'm going to betray the people of the earth, man?
You're betraying the people of the sea, aren't you?
What?
You heard me. Well, it's a great story, Doc.
I knew that you wouldn't believe me.
It's a great story.
But you don't believe it.
Think I'm crazy?
What?
Of course I believe it, Doc.
What?
Sure I do.
Well, then.
Come here, Doc.
What do you want? I want you to look at the sides of my neck, Doc. Just below the ears.
You.
Sure, Doc. See?
What are you
I'm
going
not
to do?
going to electrocute you, Doc. Nah, Doc. The old gentleman downstairs has got better tricks than that for people to try to cross him up. Come on, Doc. Pick up your crystal. You and I have got a date in Atlantis. And oh, brother.
Quiet Please for tonight was called Gem of Purest Ray. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper, and Moraides, the man who spoke to you, was Ernest Chappell. And Morton Lawrence played Pappas. Sharita Bauer was Betty Chase. Edgar Staley was Fosan, the Atlantean. As usual, music for Quiet Please is played by Albert Berman. Now for a word from our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
Never having been to the bottom of the sea, I'm uncertain whether the various Atlanteans really exist outside my own imagination. I can assure you, however, that none of the characters in tonight's story are based on any living person, or any dead one, for that matter. Next week's Quiet Please is called In the House Where I Was Born.
And so, until next week at this same time, and Mr. Cooper's story, In the House Where I Was Born, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please has come to you from Mutual Studios in New York City. This is the world's largest network, the Mutual Broadcasting System. Quiet, please. Quiet, please. The Mutual Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper. Quiet Please for tonight is called In the House Where I Was Born. Another year, and I've come back to the house where I was born. Every year I do it, just before Decoration Day. His servants come here. Everybody ought to go back once a year to the house where he was born. Just look around and remember. And then it came from. The house where I was born is old. Finished. The old porch is gone. The big bay window where I used to sit and watch the snow on winter afternoons. And the wooden steps go straight up from the sidewalk to the big double front door. The house was painted red when I lived there. Red with white trimming. There was a big caladium plant in the front yard. Elephant ear, as my grandmother used to call it. You remember those things? My brother and I used to pull them and make umbrellas out of them. Grandma's jaws still our ears hurt. Can't even tell now where the Caladiums were. In the old woodshed that 2 generations of us had carved our initials on. I remember CDO 1884. And my brother's initials 1905. And all the others. That's gone too. And there was a dog, little brown and white fox terrier. Her name was Trixie, wasn't it? So many years ago. Here was the living room. The sitting room, we called it. The round oak-based burner with the isinglass in the doors, where the cook. The cow table with the cracked marble top where the lamp sat. The round lamp with the yellow silk shade. And my brother and I reading the Harley Mays and wishing we too could be big league baseball players. Then on a spring night like this, Mother, sitting at the rosewood organ under the big swing battle hymn of the Republic, and there'll be a hot time in the old town, for the Spanish War wasn't so long ago. Then my father, Sergeant Major, hadn't come back from Chickamauga. In the scent of white lilac, whiskey was his pride, is long gone. But I can smell the white lilac tonight. And I was on the pavement outside. The pavement they put down the year I started to school. Over the old room, a glow comes slowly to life. And there, cheerfully across the Brussels carpet, playing. And I'm the little boy who looks up at her and plucks at her dress and face. Mama, tell me a story.
Mama, tell me a story. What will I tell you about tonight, son? Isn't it almost time for bed? Very first, Mama, please. Well, let me see. The stag at eve had jumped the hill where danced the moon on morning rill. And each his midnight lair had made in dark, monotonous river hill. What's morning rill, Mama? Why, it's a little book, a little treat. Way up in Scotland in the tropics, where Roger Peel lives. Well, why did they call it morning rill, Mama? Why, I suppose it was named after somebody named Mona, son. I suppose it's a very tiny little river, where the water is ever so cold and comes down all the way from the very top of the mountains through the glowing castles of where the tribes live. And I suppose not very many people know where Morningsville really is, because it's very probably guarded by the... And I don't think they like people to come and drink at their will. But they do let the stag come every night, and that is if he wants to, and then he goes away. And the little people rise on his back wherever he goes. And then they wake him up in the morning and he takes them back to the well. Does Morning come there, too? No, I don't think so. Morning's gone from there ever so many and many years ago. Doesn't anybody ever see him? No. Doesn't anybody know him even? I guess not. That's awful. Yes, it is, isn't it? That's just about the awfulest thing that could happen, isn't it? What, son? Not having anybody know you. Why, I hadn't thought of that. But... Mama. Are you getting sleepy? Uh-huh. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out of vintage where the grapes of wrath have stood. He has loosed the fateful lightning of his servant. Sword. His truth is marching on.
Grandmother's long face, and the light grows dim, and I am in darkness again in the house where I was born. And this house where I was born is in a great city, and the wide streets are filled with crowds of people. And I remember again so many things. The thunder of the elevated railways overhead on a brisk afternoon in the autumn. And the open streetcar clanging its way up the street. My father pointing and telling me that that's the last trip of the open streetcars up Broadway till next summer. And a friendly policeman in a round-topped helmet spanking me jovially with his nightstick as we crossed the plaza on the way to the Central Park Zoo. And the house where I was born. Weary and happy in the crisp evening, climbing the brownstone steps into a high-ceilinged house with a fireplace in the front room. And a great stairway and a long, inviting banister. And a cat with a blue ribbon for a collar and the longest, sharpest claws in the world. And a telephone that you could talk even to Brooklyn with. The house where I was born. And now, a sign on the front alongside the tall doors. A sign that says Swedish Restaurant. Then, still in the concrete sidewalk at the foot of the steps, the prints of my 2 shoes that I could span with a hand. Then my initials. And the date. 1901. And I turn away from this house where I was born. For I have not done with my homeward journey yet. In the house where I was born, there is not one stone upon another. For the path of war led across its dooryard, and destruction followed for all the people who dwelt in it. But the scent of lilacs is strong in the evening air even here. And before my eyes the scene of desolation dims, and the house where I was born lives again. And it is a spring evening. There seems to be music in the air. And I feel happiness again as I felt it that night when I first brought home my bride. What was her name? Have I forgotten?
Carry me across the threshold, my love.
Oh, darling, this is home.
A fine home, a wonderful home.
My people have lived here.
Since the 30 Years' War. You have told me that.
They don't build houses like this anymore, my love. See the wall.
On the stone from the quarry over there.
And the mortar. Why, there's my great-great-great-grandfather's blood in that.
I know. He drew blood from his own arm and spilled it into the mortar so that there would always be something of him in the house.
Well, it was also a charm, you know. The witch woman.
I know. He paid us 3 silver pieces to tell him what to do to make the house stand forever.
Well, how do you know so much about it?
You have told me so many times.
Oh, so I have. And real glass in the windows, too.
And the straw with the hand-painted tires.
There's not another one like it in the whole village.
And it's ours.
And we'll take it to America when we go.
Oh, dearest, do you really want to go to America?
Why, of course I do. You do, too, don't you?
Could we not be happy here, we two?
Why, we could be happy anywhere. But in America...
Oh, no, we will be rich, and I'll have 2 dresses, and someday we'll have a motor car even, but...
But what?
It is so far from this house where you have been born in, and why I hoped our children would be born.
Then the scent of lilacs is strong again in the air, as the voice of a beloved woman fades away into shadow and forgetfulness. And the house where I was born is swallowed up in the night. And I am alone again. And the house where I was born is a adobe shack somewhere in the Texas Panhandle. And the wide plains of the West stretch away endlessly beyond it. Now the corral gate is broken. The bunkhouse roof is gone. Horned toads squat on the decrepit porch where I played cowboy and Indian. I look above the door, and the brand is still there. The brand that looks in the early darkness like rafter A, but might be 2 up and 2 down, or a running W. And there's a dry, dusty smell about the place. And an echo of almost forgotten songs quivers on the air. For the Chisholm Trail went past our place, all the way from Belton up to the North Fork of the Canadian, Abilene. I've seen white-faced ballers by the thousands go past our gate. Heard the riders' voices in the hot noon, the long moonless nights.
I'm going to Montana for to throw the hula hand. They feed in the coulee and water in the gold.
And the long, slow song of horses' hoofs is music to the ears of a lost, forgotten Texan who'll never come back to stay to the house where he was born, to lay flowers on the grave up there on the little hill under the cottonwood tree. And the house where I was born is a sod-roofed cottage in the peat bog country of Ireland. And I'm 19, and returned for a visit with the old folks after 3 years in America, where I'd become all Yankee. And my brother and I sit before the door, talk at evening about the strangeness of the new world and its customs, the customs of other people beyond the various seas. And it is this very day, 34 years ago, in 1914.
And I'm betting you there'll be war in Europe before the year is out, my lad.
That's just talk.
Just talk started every war the world has ever seen. Kaiser Bill is just waiting for somebody to set the world alight. And it's many a good lad will come to his end putting it out.
Well, we'll never get in it.
I mean, the Americans?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Well, we're too far away. Let the English and the Germans fight it out.
All very well to say. But you'll see.
Well, you won't go.
Oh, I'm not so sure about that either.
Fight for the English?
Oh, I wouldn't like that very much, sure enough. But there's some very good Irish regiments in the British Army. The Enniskillen Fusiliers, the Royal Irish Rifles, the Dublin Fusiliers.
You stay out of it.
Right.
Well, you can't go and leave the old folks alone.
Oh, if I was as young as you now, I'd...
Cut it out. Well, you talk as if war is just around the corner.
Well, that's just exactly what I think, too.
Well, all right. But I'll be back in the States long before your war arrives. And I'll stay there, too. And I left the house where I was born, the smoky, damp little hut beside the road to the sea. And I've not seen it again, save when it comes Decoration Day time and I go back, unbeknownst to my brother. Look in the door to where he sits, an old man puffing his pipe, alone by the peat fire. And once, it was long years ago, the village priest sat with him. And I heard my brother speak of me.
Aye, it would have been different, Father, if my brother had come back from the war. He was a fine young lad, Father. Him and me, we could have done something with the place. But now, it's too late.
And there was a day on the ranch in the Texas Panhandle when a tall young man in Levi's and high-heeled boots saddled and bridled a horse, said goodbye to an old man, shook hands with a half-dozen cowhands and a Mexican cook, rode away toward the railroad that was to be the first lap of a long, long journey. And I remember I turned and looked back at the house where I was born. And someone was singing an old song somewhere.
I spied a young cowboy wrapped white linen, wrapped up in white linen as cold as the day.
And here again, in the house where I was born, I stand again beside the walls of stone mortared with the blood of my great-great-great-grandfather, and in my arms, I hold a weeping woman.
Don't go and leave me.
But it'll be only a little while, my dear. Only till I can earn enough money to send to you.
I'll never see you again.
Oh, but you will. America really isn't so far away.
Across the sea, across the sea, I'll stay.
Dear, we've been through all this before. Now be reasonable. In 6 months, a year... Don't, darling.
Let us stay here, both of us. This is our home. This is the house where you were born.
Look at me, love. I love you. It'll be such a little while. You will come to America. We'll be so happy and so rich. It's such a little time to wait. You know it is.
I love you. Kiss me.
And I kissed her. And I went away. And I have never again seen the house where I was born, except in dreams, dreams such as this dream tonight, when the ruins lift and form themselves for a little moment in the darkness. She came to America. And the day she arrived, I was drafted. I was never able to find her again. But then, she was never able to find me either. In the house where I was born, there is no memory left of me. Only the 2 prints of a child's shoes in the concrete remain as a memorial that I once lived. The house where I was born has forgotten me. And the house where I was born, where my little brother and I played in the Caladium bed, it has almost forgotten me, too. There is a pack of yellowed letters somewhere in the house, lost behind a beam in the attic, maybe. A pack of yellowed letters with soldier's mail in the place where the stamp should go, and my name and an APO number in the other corner. The letters are full of names like Albert, Le Somme, Chatoncourt, Dead Man's Hill, Consenvoy, Brabant. Names like the faded letters on an ancient palimpsest, obscured by newer names written over them. Omaha Beach, Bastogne, Okinawa. They are all names of places where men have died. And one day, they'll all be forgotten. Please God. I remember one of those names, those first names. I won't tell you the name of the town, a clean little town it was once with red-roofed houses, a dirty shambles in October 1918. I couldn't hear the shells from the 77s bursting in the streets. I couldn't hear what the chaplain was saying to me. I could just see a dirty-faced man in a helmet moving his lips as he bent over me. It was very quiet and very lonely. I didn't even hear the shell that killed him and the other man that was standing alongside him. It was quiet for a long, long time. And then I heard a little boy's voice. And I said to myself, why, I'm home. That's my voice. That night before decoration day so many years ago. And it was.
Oh,
What shall I tell you about it, son?
Sure, Mama.
Well, let me see. Dad danced on the front of the school. They're dancing on moon and hill. And 3 people midnight low on the news.
Morning.
We will see.
What's morning drill, Mama?
Not very many people know where Moningsville really is, because it's probably very closely guarded by the Littleton.
Many a good lad will come to his end of putting out the great fire.
Across the sea! Across the sea! The sea!
Young cowboy wrapped up in white linen, wrapped up in white linen as cold as...
It's just about the awfulest thing in the world, Mama, not having anybody know you.
They set a marble tomb above my shattered self, seeking to do me honor thus, to recompense the searing days, the crawling nights I died in. He lies here deep, the graven letters say. He lies here deep, unknown to all save God. Oh, sweet it is, they say. Oh, sweet it is to die the battle death. Yes, it is sweet, as gall is sweet, and wormwood. So is death. I died. I felt the bitter fire and the cleaving steel, the pain. I am content. Yet I am weary in my sentiments. The sleep of death is not so very deep. Lately the spring has come, and yesterday a tiny root of some green thing has split the stones apart wherein I lie. Its tender questing fingers seek my hand, as mine sought flowers on some yesterday forgot. Above my head, the hushed clang of arms, the measured tread of sentinels that guard my bed, forbid me sleep. My face is dim in eternity now. But once you knew me. Perhaps you wept to hear that Sergeant Death had spoke my name. Is it you that I hear through the dust, oh my brother? Is it your little song that I hear, oh my mother? I in my tomb of marble, I in my tomb of stone. I am the chief of them all. I am the chief of the dead. I died, and dying became a mystery. To every mother, her son. To every brother, his brother. To every soldier, his comrade. I, the chief of the dead. I was content to lie here masked in uncertainty, having the homage of all of you here in my marble tomb. I was content, I say. Yet now spring comes again as I saw it once before that day I died. Is it your hand that rests on the stone, oh my sister? Is it your tear that falls on the stone, oh my wife? I hear the trumpets now. The volleys sound. The sabers flash against the sun. I may not know. I may not rise. I have my duty here alone. I, in my tomb of marble, I, in my tomb of stone, I am the chief of them all. I am the chief of the dead. Quiet Please for Tonight was called In the House Where I Was Born. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper, and Ernest Chappell was the man who spoke to you. Others in the cast were Lotta Stevensky, Cecil Roy, Betty Raggy, and J. Papa Harris. Special music for Tonight's piece was composed and played by Mr. Furman. Now, next week, my good friend Willis.
Obviously, all the characters in tonight's story, except the principal one, was completely fictitious. Some such stories fall below Fifth Avenue.
And so, until next week at the same time, quietly yours, Ernest Chappell. This is Mutual Broadcasting System. Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
Presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for tonight is called Not Responsible After 30 Years.
I suppose I'm glad to be out again. It's close to Midsummer's Eve again. I've got a date for that night. I've been thinking about the date all the time I've been in Dartmoor, planning how to get back to the circle and everything. And those 3 years have gone pretty slowly. Pretty slowly. Listen, the British prisons aren't like the ones at home. They don't fool around here. Well, they're fair, all right, I suppose, but British prison food isn't exactly what I'd order. And those gray uniforms stamped with a broad arrow are pretty depressing. In for? Why, I was in for stealing. Stealing a wristwatch, to be exact. 3 years ago, just about this time of the year. Stealing a wristwatch off a skeleton's arm. Well, sure, I don't mind telling you. I was in the OWI this last war. I'd been in the other war, first in the British Army. Oh, I'm an American. I just got kind of carried away in 1914. And when this one came along, I put in for OWI and made it. They sent me to England. I'd always wanted to come back to England. All those 30 years since I first came here and enlisted in the Coilies. The King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry, Koyli, Coily. But you know how it is. You're in the advertising business. You've got accounts to look after. You go fishing in the summer with a client and all that. So the OWI was what you might call a heaven-sent opportunity. Well, anyway, forget the war if you can. I want to tell you about Midsummer's Day, 1945. This end of the war was over, you see. And so I put in for some leave, as I've been planning to do for the 4 years I've been in Britain. I got it easily enough. And I set out for the circle. The circle? I'll tell you about that in a minute.
You wanted to know why I got put in jail. Okay. So, when I got to the Circle, it was a morning of Midsummer's Day, the 24th day of June in England, a quarter day, the morning after Midsummer Eve. Well, I hardly recognized the place, well as I knew it. At first, I thought they were digging some kind of fortification or something. And then I remembered that the war was over, and why should they be digging air raid shelters or whatever it was now? Then when I went closer, I discovered what was going on.
That's an old Roman camp or something, sir. They found some old Roman soldiers down there.
My heart turned over. Old Roman soldiers. A Roman camp. I remember the 9th Spanish Legion, Tiberius Claudius. The 9th Snails, the other Romans called them. And I remember the motto on the eagle standards of the 9th, the bronze ribbon below the SPQR of the regular army. The words the 9th cherished and fought for. Slow but sure. The 9th that helped defeat Caractacus, king of the Britons, 19 short years after Christ was crucified. And it stayed in Britain almost 400 years afterwards, until the very language of Rome disappeared among them except for the commands of the centurions at parade. I remembered so many things. And I drew nearer to the excavation where a couple of navvies were handing up a long canvas-wrapped thing from the muddy clay. And I wasn't surprised at all when the man who seemed to be in charge unwrapped the canvas to reveal a skeleton of a man, his short bronze sword at his side. And on his left arm, dangling loosely from the muddy white ulna, an Elgin wristwatch of the vintage of 1915. Yes, of course the archaeologists were thunderstruck. No, nobody had lost a watch in the pit. No, it couldn't be anything but the skeleton's own watch. Well, they couldn't slip it off the bones of the hand. The metal band was too small, and it had corroded so that it couldn't be unstrapped. Nobody thought to ask the American in the OWI uniform if he knew anything about it. I could have told him a lot about it. I could have told him what they'd discover if they cleaned the watch and wound it up. I could have told him who the dead man was. And I could have told him that it wasn't his watch. After all, it was mine. So, I stole it. But, of course, they caught me, and that was 3 years ago. Today, they let me out of Dartmoor with a little time off for good behavior. And tonight, I'm going to find that watch, and I'm going to steal it again. Then I'm going to clean it very, very carefully. And I'm coming back to the Circle. And when the watch is wound and running, I hope it will run. Well, it's been underground there for 30 years. Or is it... Well, the Roman legions left Britain in the year 411 A.D. That's more than 1,500 years ago. Lance Corporal Edward Mullen was my friend. I was the only American in the battalion, and the hard-headed Yorkshire dalesmen don't take up easily with foreigners. But Mullen, who had been my drill master, took rather a liking to me somehow. Then, between the chores of slow pipe and Form 4's 2-deep quick march, we found quite a good deal in the way of common interests, particularly English history. We could see the towers of York Minster from our drill ground, But I wish you could meet Edward Mullen.
Aye, lad. The old wall that Severus built in the year 208 ran straight across yon field over there. Aye. York's always been a garrison town. There was Severus, and then Constantius about 100 years later. And Constantius, he died by yonder clump of trees, they say.
I suppose they dig up a lot of Roman relics and stuff, huh? Around here?
Oh, aye. Old pieces of armor, coins, and that sort of thing. And occasionally part of a skeleton. This is a lively place in the old days, Yank.
I wish I had a chance to see more of it.
Well, perhaps we could wangle a day off and have a deco at things.
Wish we could.
Well, Sergeant Major's an old pal of mine. See what I can do, eh?
Oh, boy.
Like it, eh?
Not up.
Don't come that cockney stuff on me, lad. You know, I think bloody coal streamers.
Where could we go, for instance, Corporal? You know some places where we could find some stuff? A coin or something?
I do and all. I know a score of places. Hey, ever hear of druids?
Druid? Sure. Used to go around in white robes with mistletoe in their hair and play harps and do magic tricks.
I wouldn't be quite so flip about druids, Greg.
Huh?
You know, there's people about that take druids somewhat serious.
In this day and age?
Aye.
Huh. What'd you ask about it?
Well, I know where there's a druid circle.
Where they used to meet?
Aye. Well, maybe they still meet.
Oh, now, come on.
You know what tomorrow night is, Greg?
23rd of June.
Uh-huh. Have you got guts, Yank?
Well, I suppose so.
Guts enough to go to a druid circle on Midsummer's Eve?
Huh? Well, why not, for Pete's sake?
Well, you'll not get frightened and run away and leave me.
Well, of course I won't. Why should I?
It just might be, lad, that you might see something you might not be expecting, like.
What?
Oh, I don't know. But I know a man. I knew a man from Huddersfield, over in the West Riding. He made a wager he'd stay all night alone in Druid Circle on Midsummer's Eve.
And did he?
They found him there in the morning.
Well, what did he see?
He couldn't tell. He could only just slobber like a baby. He was raving mad.
I don't believe it.
Nobby Clark, his name was. From Huddersfield.
Well... oh, I don't know.
You have never seen a druid circle by moonlight. I want you to picture tall, wide-spreading oak trees, hundreds of years old. I want you to see a circle of great stones, twice as tall as a man, casting long black shadows across the grass. I want you to hear the little night wind rustling the leaves of the ancient oaks, sounding like the far-off, whispered conversation of a great conclave of beings from another world. See the moon, dead pale in the sky above, and feel the oneness of all nature in the whispering silences. And know that you are very close to an infinite something. Sense that you, who came to watch in the Druid Circle on Midsummer Eve, are being watched. And there is nothing to see. Nothing but the grim old monoliths standing in a silent circle and their lengthening shadows reaching out to the two soldiers crouched under the low-hanging branches of the oaks. There is nothing to hear. Nothing but the rustle of the leaves and the quickened breathing of the man beside you in the dark. I looked at my watch. It lacked less than a minute of midnight. And as the hand slowly crept to the hour, a veil seemed to come over the moon, though the sky was cloudless. And there was the sound of a deep-toned bell, clanging thunderously once and echoing across the empty glade. And suddenly the glade
wasn't empty anymore. In the center of the circle stood an ancient man, a tall, straight man, robed in gleaming white with a wreath of mistletoe about his head and a long silver-white beard that descended to his bosom. And I heard Edward Mullen's sharp intake of breath and his whisper in my ear. Do it. And the majestic old man turned, and I could see his eyes gleaming in the moonlight as he gazed straight at us. And then he raised his staff entwined with oak leaves and brandished it. And from somewhere behind us, I heard the tread of marching men. It was a long time, it seemed to me, before I realized that these were not men in British Army ammunition boots, armed with Lee Enfields and bayonet short Mark III. It wasn't until they marched out into the moonlight in a circle that I recognized them in their tight leather helmets and kilted battle dress, with their lances aloft and their short drawn swords clanking at their hips, that I recognized them as a cohort of the legions of Rome of 1,500 years ago. I have not much memory of what happened after that for a while. I remember how the glade seemed to have changed, how the sagging monoliths seemed to have straightened up, how there seemed to be more trees there than there had been at first. The shapes of the hills seemed altered somehow. And there was a high wall stretching across the field beyond us, a wall shoulder high, built of heavy stones and with guard platforms at regular intervals. I was looking at Severus Wall, built by the Romans in the year 208, and as I was to learn very shortly, now only a scant 2 centuries old. I heard Edward Mullen speaking to one of the legionaries.
They're British soldiers, friend. We mean no harm.
And I heard the legionary reply to him. And the tongue he spoke was English of the fashion.
We be British soldiers too, man, of the 9th.
Why, you're a Roman.
Aye, so. Civis Romanus sum. I have not the Latin, see. Though I'm a Roman citizen, you're British. Aye, so we all are. All English born, but Romans. There have been no true born Roman in the 9th since days of Constantius, more than 100 years ago.
What year is this?
Why, 1163.
This can't. There were no Romans in Britain in 1163. Why, Henry II was King of England then. What age they?
Wait. Anno Domini?
Ad orbis conditae. In the army we use the old style from the founding of Rome.
Aren't you Christians then?
Oh, we're Christians, many of us.
Great.
Let me see. Rome was founded in 753 B.C. 753 from 1163, 410. This is A.D. 410. Look, soldier, the legions go back to Rome next year, don't they?
How know you that?
I just know it.
Aye, it's true. It would be a sad day of parting for most of us, for we have never known any other land save this where we were born.
Yes, I remember reading about that.
What?
Look, man. What about us?
Why, man, come and have supper with us, comrade. There's always room at the mess for a British soldier. And there'll be wine issue later, and our wives and our families are coming to join us. This is Midsummer's Eve, my friend.
I could tell you about that Midsummer's Eve. I could tell you about the songs. And the stories our new comrades told us about fighting the outlaws who swarmed down from the north to shatter themselves against the stones of the wall of Severus. And I could tell you of the women, the wives and daughters of the legionaries, the ones who danced, and the ones who poured the heavy, sour red wine and drank with us out of sweaty leather helmets. I could tell you of Lance Corporal Edward Mullen brimming with that wine, drilling a squad of Roman soldiers
teaching them the manual of arms with their lances, even to the aloe of the right foot against the heel of the left, when they came to present. And me, I was applauded loudly when I stood forth and declaimed, Arma Varumque Cano, and followed right through in my best Lakeview High School elegance until I fell flat on my face at the 6th line. And flat on my face I was when the sun came up on Midsummer's Day in the year of our Lord 410. Flat on my face with 60 Roman legionaries, none of whom had a worse hangover than the one I sported. That was when I discovered a strange thing. My watch was running backward. Perhaps that was an effect, not a cause. Perhaps the Druid had laid a spell on it that made it, in time, run backwards. Perhaps the going backward in time had affected the watch. I don't know even today. But I have an idea. And tonight, I'm going to find out. The legionaries accepted us. We accepted them, as soldiers are quite apt to do. In time of war, everything is wrong. We were there. We saw no way of returning, so we refused to bother our heads about it. Well, perhaps we were influenced by Elaine. Elaine, the daughter of our friend, the legionary who had first greeted us. His name was Spurius Decius Athelstan Horgreek. Elaine and I fell in love with her. And Edward Mullen fell in love with her. I remember how we talked one early fall day beside the wall, Elaine and I.
I do hate to go.
Well, your father will probably be discharged as soon as he gets back to Rome, and you'll just have to come back here.
I'd like the trip.
Well, I'd take you to Rome, Elaine.
Would you, Greg?
And not in a troop ship either.
I'd like that.
Elaine.
Hmm?
What if I asked your father?
Well...
May I?
No, Greg, don't.
Well, why not?
Well...
Don't you love me? I love you, Elaine.
I like you, Greg.
I try to make you very happy.
Greg.
Well?
No.
When you come back, then? Elaine?
When I come back, Greg, Mullen and I are going to be married.
And I talked to Edward Mullen, my friend. And he talked to me.
I don't know what to say, Greg. I know you love her.
Yes. But, Edward, I can't stay here then.
Why?
Well, I can't stay here and see you and Elaine. I just can't do it. It's not... I can't do it.
You'll have to stay, Greg.
No.
But why? Elaine likes you.
Look, old boy, we're friends, aren't we?
Of course we're friends. But don't
Let's always be friends.
Well, where could you go?
Maybe I should go back, Edward.
How?
I'm going to find the Druid.
You don't know where he is.
I'm going to the circle.
Greg, now don't be a fool.
No.
Well, what if you can't find him?
The Legion will be gone soon. I'll go over the other side if I can't get back where I belong.
You won't do that.
Listen, Edward, I can do as I please.
Greg.
Can't you see that I don't ever want to see you again? Can't you understand that you're taking from me the one thing?
It was a fair contest, Greg.
Fair contest or no fair contest? Do you think I'm going to stay here in this godforsaken place and see you and Elaine every day? Well, don't you understand?
I'm sorry, Greg.
I've got to leave.
I know. I hope you'll forgive me someday, old friend.
I'll never forgive you. I wish I hadn't said that to Edward Mullen. Because I know now I didn't mean it. I knew I didn't mean it a few short hours after I'd said it. I went to the circle that night. At midnight. I stood and looked around me. I could just make out the distant light from the sentry's godfire alongside the wall. I looked up at the moon and at the shadows of the stones on the greensward. And I listened to the rustling of the leaves of the ancient oaks. And I spoke aloud. Druid, I said. Druid, I need you. Druid, come to me. And I looked down at my wristwatch. And the minute hand slowly moved backward until it touched the figure of 12. It was midnight. And again I heard the solemn tone of the great bell. And from the shadows, the old druid walked slowly toward me. I raised my hand. Druid, I said. Druid, let me go back. Druid, I must go back. And the old man halted by my side. And I saw an infinity of pity in those wise old eyes. And I said again, let me go back. I felt his hand on my arm. And he unfastened my watch and held it up. And from the shadow under the great oak, Edward Mullen and Elaine came toward me. Silently, he fastened the watch on Edward's wrist. And Edward raised his other hand in solemn, final salute. And as the druid lifted his staff and the veil seemed to slip over the moon, there was a sudden scream from Elaine. And dimly I saw a crowd of shaggy, howling men pull over the wall and race toward my two friends. And brazen trumpets sounded in the darkness as I screamed, No! No, let me come back! The wild, savage men of the North had chosen that moment for their attack. And I had deserted my friend and the woman I loved in the hour of their direst need. And it was 30 years ago that the red-capped MPs found me and got me back to camp. But they never found Edward Mullen, once Lance Corporal of the King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry, and late legionary in the 9th Legion of Rome, the slow but sure legion. So now Midsummer's Eve is nearly here, and I must have my watch back. And perhaps the druid will let me come back to the ninth and start over. Maybe I can help if I can get there in time. Maybe not. That skeleton with the wristwatch, with my wristwatch. Its right arm was lifted in a very military, final British Army salute.
The title of tonight's Quiet Please story was Not Responsible After 30 Years. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper, and the man who spoke to you was Ernest Chappell. And J. Pat O'Malley played Edward Mullen. The legionary was Court Benson, and his daughter Elaine was Nancy Sarden. As usual, music for Quiet Please is played by Albert Berman. Now for a word about next week, my good friend Willis Cooper.
The people you heard tonight are not intended to be anyone you know or even anyone you don't know. They're products of my typewriter and as fictitious as all get out. And next week's Quiet Please story will be entitled What the Lilllies Consider. It's about a man who loves flowers and vice versa.
And so until next week at the same time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell. Tonight's Quiet Please show was especially written for your enjoyment, with the hope we would please many people with many different tastes for many different reasons. You like Quiet Please for one reason, and you for another. And that's just as it should be. For we in America aren't stamped with a mold. We have our differences in tastes and talents, in hopes and ambitions, in color and creed. Our American differences have resulted in a variety of contributions which have made our country great and kept us free. Today, as America seeks to establish peace in the world and to continue prosperity at home, our differences must not divide us or hamper our efforts. On this Flag Day of 1948, let each of us pledge to wipe group prejudice out of our lives by meeting every American as an individual. This program was heard in Canada through the facilities of the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please. Broadcasting System presents Quiet Please, which is written and directed by Willis Cooper and which features Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please for tonight is called Let the Lilllies Consider. Yes, I quite understand. I quite understand. Well, your stenographer is taking down everything I say. You are witnesses. When the stenographer transcribes, there's no time to sign them, and that is my confession. Is that right? And whatever I say may be used against me. Is that right? Oh, I'll sign them all right. Where do you want me to start? At the beginning, I suppose. All right. For your record, my name is James R. James Roderick. 41, third-generation American college graduate. UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. No occupation. No, not unemployed. No occupation. Well, I have a small but adequate income. You have my address. I was married and... Gretchen McMonish. Yes, Gretchen is a diminutive of Margaret. Margaret McMonish. And often.
Where's your wife now, James?
Please don't try to trap me, Lieutenant. I've told you at least 20 times where she is.
Tell me again.
Right there. There.
Look, James, we dug that place up twice now. Your wife isn't there. Where is she?
I've told you.
What did you do with her?
I didn't do anything with her, Lieutenant. I told you that.
All right. Go on.
I met her at school in 1930.
Did you bury her in the flower bed there?
May I go on?
Answer my question. Did you bury her?
No, I did not.
Then why do you keep saying she's there?
Because you killed her.
No. Well, she's dead. What killed her?
I told you she isn't dead.
You can't prove it, James.
I can prove it, Lieutenant, but you won't believe it.
Why don't you prove it then?
Shall I go on with my statement?
Did you plant that lily there to mark her grave, James?
I didn't plant that lily.
How come it grows there? How come it's so much bigger than the others? Answer me.
There were other lilies there alongside it. Before you and your men dug them up?
James, I think I know why that lily is bigger than the others.
You do?
Yes, and so do you.
You're wrong, Lieutenant.
You know why we left that lily standing, James, when we dug up the others?
Yes.
Because we know what's under it there. Because we figured the lily would remind you, would keep you thinking about your wife buried there. Because we hoped it might lead you to a confession.
It won't, Lieutenant.
You know, I have an idea that lily there is going to hang you, James.
No, it isn't. That
Lily loves me. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.
What are you talking about?
We consider the lilies, and some of us love them. Do you suppose the lilies consider us and sometimes return our love?
I don't think you'll get by with an insanity plea, James.
I don't know very much about flowers. I don't know anything about them from the standpoint of books. I'm not interested in stamens and pistils and the anatomy of flowers. Well, I'm interested in their souls. In their souls. I believe flowers love and hate just as people do.
Shall we get along with your statement?
Yes. They love us and hate us in the proportions of the love or the hate we have for them. I said I've always loved flowers. My wife, Gretchen, she hated them. And they love me. Gretchen?
You know, James, I declare I think flowers don't like me at all. I can't do a thing with them.
You'll learn. I'll show you how to handle them.
I don't think I want to handle them. James, must we have so many flowers?
Why? I like them, dear.
But so many of them.
Well, I haven't anything else to do but raise flowers.
I know. That's what bothers me. I don't like to see you wasting all your time pottering around flower beds every single hour. Goodness, I think it's just kind of wicked, James, when there's so many other things you could be doing.
Aren't you happy?
Of course I'm happy, but I could be happier if I didn't have to compete with a lot of silly flowers.
Well, I don't think they're silly.
Besides, there's so many lilies.
Well, they're so beautiful.
They're so depressing.
I love them.
That's what bothers me, James.
Why?
Well, I'm jealous of them, James.
Gretchen.
James, you do love me more than you love the flowers, don't you?
Isn't that a pretty foolish question?
James?
What?
Look. Look at the lilies.
Well, what do you...
Look at them. They're listening. They're waiting to hear what you say.
And I looked. And I tell you, there was a silence in the garden there that you could almost hear. And the lilies around us were leaning toward us as we stood there. And there was an attitude of expectancy about them, as their graceful stems bent toward us, trembling. They were listening. And suddenly Gretchen broke from my arms and ran sobbing into the house, trampling their beautiful, delicate bodies underfoot as she ran. No, I didn't follow her. I stood for a long time in the twilight, considering these lilies of the field. And they watched me, considering me in silence as I lifted up the murdered flowers from the marks of Gretchen's shoes in the soil, and wept a moment for them. And I never did answer Gretchen's question. I could have answered it, but she never asked me again. Perhaps she thought she knew the answer.
So that's why you killed her. Because you thought more of the flowers than you did of her.
I didn't kill her.
Go on.
I did love Gretchen. I love her now more than I ever did.
It sounds as if you did.
We were very happy for a long time that winter. There are no flowers in the winter, and she had no cause to feel neglected. It was very pleasant here in the house. But the spring came, and the buds appeared on the trees. And one day she brought up the subject again.
James, what about the flowers this year?
I'm going to start in the gardens tomorrow.
I wish...
Wish what, darling?
Do we have to have the flowers again?
We don't have to have them, but I want them.
It's been so nice all winter without them.
I've missed them.
I'd hoped you'd maybe forgotten them, James.
Forgotten them? My darling, I don't believe I could live without them.
If they all died, what would you do?
I don't know.
Would you die?
Well, what are you talking about, Gretchen?
I'm being very foolish and very silly, James, but
I don't want the flowers. I hate flowers.
Now, dear.
I hate them.
You mustn't say that, Gretchen. They'll hate you.
That's just what's the matter. You've let those flowers become an obsession with you. You've begun to feel that they're alive, that they have feelings. You're letting these things take you away from me, and I won't have it.
Gretchen, you're being...
I said I was being silly. I know I am. But it's the truth just the same. Oh, we could do so many things this summer. Go to so many places.
But I don't want to go places, Gretchen.
You did before you went so crazy over flowers. Out of those horrible lilies.
Darling, they're so beautiful.
You used to say I was beautiful.
Well, you are.
But not as beautiful as the lilies. Am I?
Why, dear, you're like a lily yourself. Your skin is so white, your yellow hair, and that green dress.
Don't you compare me with one of those things. You hear me? I'm not like a flower. I'll never be like a flower.
Dear, please, don't...
James, do you know what I think? Sometimes I think there's something wrong with your mind. Sometimes I think you're a little crazy. Do you realize that I'm your wife, do you? Or do you think I'm married to those flowers? I won't have it. You've got to choose between those dreadful flowers and me.
I wondered if my mind was all right. There's nothing wrong with loving flowers, is there? Almost everyone loves them. But for my wife to be jealous of them, I wondered for a moment whether it was my mind or hers. Yes, I did spend too much time in the gardens, I thought. And I resolved manfully to change my way, to devote only a few hours a day to cultivation and admiration of my precious lilies. I would compromise. I would try to follow my wife's wishes, try to remember her first, instead of the flowers. I reckoned without the flowers. I planted only half as many this year, and Gretchen watched sullenly from the house. They came up eagerly, and I could have sworn that there were twice as many as I planted. Gretchen wouldn't speak to me for days at a time, and mornings when I awoke, I would sometimes find her staring out the window at the lushness of the garden. And in her eyes, I saw a look of awful hatred. It was her attitude, I suppose, that led me to spend more and more time in the garden. And the flowers rewarded me. They were more beautiful, more gracious, more abundant than I've ever seen them. And they returned the loving care I gave them. They poured out their love for me in waves of scent. And their leaves caressed my hands as I bent over them. And as I labored among them, they bent their perfect heads to brush against my cheek. And for long hours I could forget Gretchen, my wife. Until a rustle among the lilies caused me to look up and see my wife standing in the window of the house, gazing out hatefully at us. And the lilies and I looked back at her with something of fear in our hearts. And the garden grew and flourished beyond my fondest hopes. Slowly, I came to the realization that my garden of lilies was increasing in size. That there were hundreds more than I'd set out in the spring. And I smiled on them happily. And the lilies smiled back at me. The lilies loved me. But there was a summer night and a full moon. And I sat on the porch alone and dreamed of... What did I dream of? There was a voice. A murmurous voice above the little breeze in the garden. And the voice was without words. And yet it was the voice of a loved one. Of a lover. And it spoke to me sadly. Caressing me. In sounds that did not need the form of words. And I sat there, alone in the darkness, and listened. And at last the words came.
James!
I love you. Oh! Why, Gretchen.
James, I can't stand it any longer.
What's the matter, Gretchen?
I told you a long time ago that you've got to choose between me and those flowers.
Now, dear,
I'm not going to live in this house like a prisoner any longer. Those flowers are driving me mad. I never see you from morning till night. You've forgotten all about me. I don't even speak to you.
Well, that's not true, Gretchen. I do love you.
But you love those flowers more.
Gretchen,
Well?
I love you.
And what are you going to do about it?
What shall I do?
Do you want the flowers or do you want me? Go, James.
Gretchen. I can't. I can't. And Gretchen turned away without another word and went into the house. I could not move. The chanting in my ears had become a hypnotic lullaby now. And my eyes closed, and I think I slept. And suddenly I was awakened by Gretchen's shrill laughter somewhere, and the flaring of a brilliant light. And the garden was a sheet of flame. Among the lilies, Gretchen dashed with a great torch exciting the bloom soaked with kerosene, and the noble tall lilies withered in its blast as she slapped it in their faces. And above the crackling of the flames, above her hysterical laughter, I could hear the keening of strange, lost voices, and I could make out words above the sound of the catastrophe that my wife had done, and they were sad beyond belief. And I roused myself and ran to the garden, but I was too late. Like some avenging demon, my wife stood triumphant amidst the scorched and blistered, dying flowers, and she laughed again. And now she thought she'd won, and there were no more flowers to be jealous of. And when the sun rose in the morning, I went sadly out of the house to contemplate the miserable remains of my loved one. It was as if nothing had happened in the dreadful night. The lilies that I had last seen, smoldering in the moonlight, had raised their smiling heads again, and there was no sign of fire about them. And listen to this, you who refuse to believe that flowers, too, live and reason and love. There were thousands more lilies now than there'd been the night before. They had burst the bounds of the garden, and they extended halfway across the graveled walk that bordered the garden. And from the house came the despairing sobbing of the woman who had tried desperately to destroy the flowers. I had feared for my wife's sanity. Now I feared for my own. It was hours before she could do more than weep. At last she spoke to me.
James, I'm going to leave here.
No, Gretchen.
I've got to. I didn't believe, but...
I won't let you go.
You don't love me. Why should I stay? They've won. They'll never forgive me. They'll kill me.
No.
James, I want you to listen to me. I love you. I'll always love you.
I love you, Gretchen.
But you love the flowers more than you do me.
No. No, I don't.
You don't mean that.
I do mean it.
But it's no use. They love you, James. They're going to have you. I tried to destroy them, and they can't be destroyed. If I don't get away from here...
I can't let you go, Gretchen.
I love you, James.
Stay.
What if I do stay? I'll die. They'll have you.
No.
They hate me.
Gretchen.
They love you. What can I do?
Well, I don't know, but...
You can't fight them. You won't fight them.
I know I can't fight them. They love me.
And I love you, James. It's too late now to choose.
I won't let them have you. I love you.
Look at the window.
I looked at the window. Outside stood another lily. There had been none there before this morning. There it stood. And as I raised my head, I could see more and more of them all the way across the lawn, overflowing the garden walls. Thousands of them, each with its flower cup turned toward the house, each one listening. And I turned back to Gretchen, miserable and afraid. She'd risen from the bed and was standing before her dresser. Gretchen, I called, for I knew what was in the second drawer of the dresser.
There's no other way, James.
Put it down, Gretchen. We'll think of a way.
There's no other way. I don't know how this has happened, but I believe now. I believe they love you, James, and they hate me.
Gretchen, no. Put it down.
No, James. This is the way out. It's the only way out. I won't let them have you. I won't give you up.
And she raised the pistol until it pointed straight at my heart. And I said once more, no, Gretchen.
It has to be this way, James. And then I'll go out and give myself up to them. Darling, I love you.
I must have lain there for a long, long time. At last my eyes opened, and it was dusk again, and I struggled to rise. My side pained horribly, and it was a long time before I could reconstruct what had happened. And I lay there thinking, wondering, what had happened to Gretchen? Was I to die here alone? Was she dead too?
No.
And then I heard the voice again.
Love
Gretchen.
you. You will not die. Gretchen has not died. We love you. We want you to be happy. You love Gretchen. Gretchen lives. Gretchen loves you.
And I drifted away again into the gathering darkness, with the voice
Love you.
still ringing in my
Love
ears.
you. Love you.
It's a fine story, James.
Yes.
You didn't tell us before that you'd been shot.
Here's the scar.
Yeah. What became of your wife?
That's a remarkably beautiful lily there, the big one. The one you couldn't remove when you were digging.
Well?
Gretchen was gold and white like a lily. Gretchen's green dress was the color of leaves.
What are you trying to tell me, James?
Do you see something on the stem of that lily, Lieutenant?
Where?
Just below the flower.
Let me see. It's a ring.
Our wedding ring.
How'd it get there?
Gretchen.
What?
I told you she was here with us. Darling.
Love you. Love you. Love you.
No, I didn't get it signed, Chief. There wasn't anybody there to sign it. I'm telling you. I heard the voice myself. It kept saying, love you, love you, love you. That's right. We looked around to see where it was coming from, and when we turned around again, James was gone. I don't know. All I know is there were two lilies there now, close together, great big ones. And they looked as if they had their arms around each other.
Quiet Please for Tonight was called Let the Lillies Consider. It was written and directed by Willis Cooper. James, the man who spoke to you, was Ernest Chappell. And Kathleen Cordell played Gretchen. The voice of the Lilllies was Peggy Stanley, and James Bowles was the police lieutenant. As usual, music for Quiet Please is played by Albert Bremen. Now, for a word about next week, here is our writer-director, Willis Cooper.
Of course, you'll never meet any of the characters in tonight's story. They didn't exist before I thought them up, and they're not imitations of anybody. Next week's Quiet Please story will be called Tahiti Tahiti.
And so, until next week at this time, I am quietly yours, Ernest Chappell. Quiet Please comes to you from New York and was transcribed earlier from Eastern Mutual for this presentation. This is the Mutual Don Lee Broadcasting System.